Welcome everybody to this, your Aries July 2023 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant, and I've had the great pleasure of doing a number of clairvoyant readings for Aries from different parts of the world over the course of the last month, and also healings. And if you'd be interested to find out more about a clairvoyant reading, which I charge for, or healing over FaceTime or Skype, which I don't charge for, then just check out the information that's in the description. Now, you know subscribers, don't you? And of course, if you're a subscriber, you have to press the notification button. A number of people have told me that they're not getting notified of the videos as they come through. So apparently that's what you do, press the notification button. But you already know that. Now, as you subscribers know, we don't have any video advertisements breaking their way into this content, and so you get to enjoy the experience uninterrupted by video ads. Now, this deck has got a lot of vampires and vampire ladies in it. It's actually quite romantic, the artwork in it, and I have a particularly good response to it, and so we shall see what there is in store. Now, we only need to take 5 cards because each of the cards, in connection with the others, well, just speaks so much to you, doesn't it? Now, let's see what there is underway now, and there is the 2 of Knives. This is the Prince of Skulls. Interesting, isn't it? The Ace of Scepters. We shall see what these have to say for us in just a second. There is Death. My God, lovely looking Death card that is, I must say. And you'll see it in just a moment. And what is there finally for you? Here is the Lord of Skulls. So the Prince and the Lord of Skulls in the column on top of one another. Now, why don't you come sit down here next to me? We'll have a good close look at the paintings on these cards together while I do the reading for you. Let's see now. Well, your central energy is that of a lot of opportunity coming your way and some change involved as well, and a bit of self-reflection, but great in touch with your soul purpose, and good luck and perhaps some material success as well. Let's unpack that and look first at this Ace of Scepters, shall we? Well, what an interesting picture here. Well, the form of the cross denotes, I think, the 4 elements which are balanced in the central jewel of spirit. Now, the sign of the cross is widely known to be feared by vampires, and I guess in this context, this scepter can be viewed in 2 ways. Firstly, it can be viewed as a powerful, magical energy that can be used to ward off negative influences in your life, whether they be adversaries, enemies, or negative thoughts, or even psychic attack. Secondly, it can be a sign that you must face your fears and destroy negative thoughts, and you are going to be doing this, because often the certainties and securities that you have been clinging to can get shaken by the energies breaking through from this card, and actually reflected somewhat in this card of Death, which we get to there as well. Now, these 10 roses that are there, I would say that, and I'm not going to go into any detail of it, but I would say that they represent the 10 Sephira of the Kabbalistic tree of life. Now, important to you at this time, I think, are going to be Leo. I think Leo is going to have an impact. Certainly these signs, or their rising signs in particular. I see Leo here, I see Virgo, and I see a Cancer around as well, probably having dealings with those sort of people. Now, this ace awakens your spirit within, kindling your passion to focus on new possibilities and creations. Its intense light shines on the portal of deep wisdom and intuition. Now, because this card has come in and in the center, it brings new beginnings for you, insights, adventure, and certainly moving forward, there's an advancement here. I think this ace ignites transformation, maybe spiritual truth, but certainly your self-confidence is going to improve, and you're going to feel as if you do have, at last, some physical strength. I think you'll be channeling powerful energy that brings vitality, courage, will, and the eagerness to launch new concepts and projects. Because when you align with your personal power, your fire, and the energies of the divine, confidence and strength are your allies. Now this ace brings a new start, good health. Maybe the birth of a child is something that you're going to hear of here, and it symbolizes the explosion of creation. Now this is saying that you of all people should understand that there is nothing you cannot do, there is nothing you cannot be, there is nothing you cannot have. You are the most magnificent, the most remarkable, the most splendid being God has ever created, for who could reject such wondrous magnificence? But you often do not know who you are, and you think you are a great deal less. Understand that you are your own rule maker, and you are the only one who can assess how you are doing. All you see in the world is your idea of it. You know what is available for you to do, and you are the only one who can assess how you are doing. With the decision that you make to take off, life will take off for you, but it's when you choose for it to. Understand that an idea becomes a thought becomes a word. Say it out loud. Words have power, and they reverberate all throughout eternity. And a word becomes an action. And if you're going to do it, then start, and having started, go all the way. Do it, do it, do it. Seize the opportunities in front of you now. Rejoice in them, and let no power on earth take them from you. Now let's have a look, shall we, at this death card. Hello, madam. And again, as I said, there was a vampire theme to this, didn't I, this month? Well, the vampire myth. And what a myth is, it doesn't mean it's something that is untrue. What a myth is, it is a way, it's an explanation of the inexplicable, if you understand what I mean. And it's put into terms that people can understand, but there are deep meanings and wisdom underneath it. But the vampire myth is deeply interwoven with the concepts of death and reawakenings. Now the image presented here is a lady vampire in a deep, deathly sleep. Her body is in a state of hibernation and a trance-like coma. Her body is dead, but deep within her, black blood stirs and boils away. Her silent soul is in a process of, putrefaction, I'd say, descending into the underworld. Now, just as a moth metamorphosizes, that is, changes within its cocoon of death, so she is transforming. Her essence of rotting, I suppose is what I would call it, seeps into the surrounding roses, sucking out their color. Now, from the opposite viewpoint, she is sucking in the energy of the blooms to regenerate herself. The old blood seeps from her eyes, forced out by her heart jewel, which is a symbol of love and death, the nature of love as an act of death to self. Now, I think that this serpent that's wandering around here, if we have a look at that, this is, of course, the energy of Scorpio, and one of the forms of Scorpio is a serpent. I think it represents the rhythm of decay and also of becoming, as it slithers from the tomb of death, to taste this scent of the roses that are there, which is birth. Now, as I say, this energy is associated with Scorpio, the fixed sign of water, and it is the life-preserving power of water that is also a symbol of immortality, as is the serpent through its shedding of old skins. Really for you, I think that this energy represents I would call the change and letting go, but also about transformation, renewal, and the promise of rebirth. There is no death without some sort of rebirth. Now, the number of the death card, although it's not on here, is 13. Some people think that that's an unlucky number, but I prefer to think of it as a challenging number and one of transformation and resurrection. Now, the death card here, I think, promises that if you release what you cling to so dearly, it will transform the dark unknowing into the light of a bigger picture and perspective. You'll have a bird's eye view of things. As the cycle in your life comes to an end, the seed of something else is in the offering to you. Death of any sort, of course, is a fearful experience. Now, I can tell you from personal experience that shamanic initiation rituals take you into a trial death experience, tricking the ego, that is, that character that we all build up, thinking that it has died a physical death, and then taking it back through the portal of rebirth into the world. Now, when you go through your own cycle of death and rebirth, it raises your awareness to a higher understanding of your life's purpose. It's a sobering experience, and may not always be easy, and that's the reason why we fear change. However, this brings about, this energy, what I have seen as some of the greatest transformations and changes into people's lives. I think it can bring people from time to time to their knees, but it eliminates what is false and isn't working. That's what's going to happen to you. You're going to move out away from things and people. Something within you or your environment is dying, changing, and transforming. Now, what happens is that this takes you through the portal of unknowing into the light, bringing new opportunity, which is foreshadowed by this card that's underneath it here as well. This wants you to confront what you resist. Now, you may be reluctant to let go, but it only creates more pain with no completion or healing and no opportunity for rebirth. Well, this energy here assists you in releasing your demons. Now, when times are difficult, it wants you to trust in the divine. Your faith in the divine and the love in your heart will pull you through the darkness. Now, every moment is a new experience if you are open to it. Every single moment. Acceptance in releasing fear and pain. If your heart does not resist, your spirit will be filled with the grace of divine light, and you'll come back from the darkness renewed like the first breath of springs. This is going to leave an impression on your heart and soul this time, but the impression is positive and good. And as the waves of healing love and time slowly soothe the pain of the dark void within, your life will shift to embrace all the light and the dark. And in your soul, you will know you are richer for it. But you get through every challenge that comes your way, and challenges always come our way, do they not? Let's have a look at this card here and see what this has to say to you. What do you have to tell me here? Well, let's look at the image first, shall we? And we can go from there. Now here, The vampire sleeps silently in the tomb as the blood from his last victim flows within him. The new life energy brings tremendous peace and stability, causing the old black blood of fear to bleed out from his sight, bringing new clarity and vitality. Now he is blindfolded, referring to looking within, to inner clarity and peace of mind, I think. He doesn't need to use his conscious thinking or his intellect to solve problems if he uses the powers of unconscious intuition. So this is what you should be using at this time. And he holds two knives across his heart, and that's a symbol of reconciliation and balance. This death pose shows sacrifice, either for others or to sever your mind from disruptive, outworn thoughts. It's also a defensive posture, symbolizing a need to draw into your inner resources or to withdraw from a situation to protect your feelings. Now, astrologically, just looking at the astrology that's coming up to me from this, it is the moon ruling the first decan of Libra, which is the 23rd of September to the 2nd of October. Look, this is a really good combination. Do you know that your moon sign describes your instinctive or emotional energies? But with the moon in the sign of Libra, you will have a deep need for peace and harmony in your life. And I think that this is working with this death card really well, this energy here. You know, Libra in astrology, well, that's usually symbolized by the scales, isn't it? And those scales and balance associated with them can relate to any area of your life which requires balance. And this can include your personal environment or work or relationships with others. But I don't think that the purpose of this card is either good or bad. It's really about rest and neutrality. Do you know, really the key to understanding this energy is learning how to see and judge with the mind while listening to your heart's wisdom. The gift of this energy is knowing and speaking your truth from a place of balance and power. Now, this energy here does, as I say, signify something of a withdrawal from the problems and distractions which are surrounding you. Now, take some time out to settle emotions and the racing mind. That'd be a good step. Your mind may be going over and over different facets of a situation, unable to come up with a solution. A choice or a decision has to be made, and you wish the situation would just go away. But this too here, the energy, brings truce or a reconciliation to a problem by maintaining an inner balance of your heart, which is your soul, and your mind, which is your ego, and getting in touch with your core values. Now, this helps you in the reconnection of your personal power and your inbuilt wisdom. So seek the combined vision of the heart and mind, because all the answers are already within you. Now let's see, what is there next up here? Oh, there's a column of skulls cards here. Let's take this top one first. I think good things are in store for you. Let's have a look. Hello there, my friend. How are you? What might you be up to? You're in focus? Yeah. Now, this Prince of Skulls, he gazes with concentration into the distance, doesn't he? With a determined focus, he is mentally directing his path through the universe. Now, he is richly dressed, showing his sensual tendencies and his acquisition of earthly riches. Now, the wind flows around him to represent his esoterically as a prince, his airy nature, I suppose. And he's in the suit of earth and air. Well, his hand rests on the skull, a symbol of the element of earth, which embodies the tangible physical world and what will be your pragmatic approach to things. I think that the skull also includes a connection with, I was getting a connection with Mother Earth, and that's not a bad thing. Now, I spoke before about shamans, didn't I? And he really is the shaman of the four princes. He embodies the elements of air, which is the mind, and earth, which is the body, balancing and integrating the airy light of clear perception with the feminine energy of Mother Earth. And that results in a divine reason that expands into spiritual inspiration and material manifestation for you. Now, he works, as you will do at this time, patiently and diligently with concentrated focus until your goal is completed. Don't just shoot and then think afterwards. Now, he can always be depended on, as you will be. He doesn't let the distractions of life lead him off course. And he is devoted and dedicated to Earth's evolution. And he is inspired to build new worlds that create and serve people around you. Now, he does take full responsibility for his life, actions and choices, and he understands the need to make and keep commitments. Now, this prince brings you strength, faith, and peace to handle any challenge. His pure, open heart is kind and strong. He is in tune with the feelings of others and the situation at hand. Do you know, this prince here and the archangel Uriel, they follow the same path. They share the same element, being earth. The archangel Uriel is the guardian of nature spirits, and he brings to you the gift of deep understanding of the natural laws of nature, as well as the light of God. Uriel is the angel of peace and forgiveness. Now, because this prince has shown up in your life, he is going to bring the gifts of success that come about as a result of hard work. Now, he indicates to me that finances are getting better, or the coming of an unexpected financial gift out of the blue. He indicates the coming and going of material concerns and dealings with money, maybe travels over land or changes in areas of employment about as well. Someone may be thinking of going to a rural area or a city that's far away from where they are now. But he understands and stresses the value of being surrounded and paying attention to your physical well-being. And he is an advocate of exercise, of meditation, and consuming good food that nourishes your body. He's bringing you physical strength and endurance, and he is telling you that this is the time to get in contact with your five senses, including your sixth sense of perception. And he indicates a love relationship that may be about to enter into your life that is gentle and sensual, or the deepening of an existing relationship. He is really the bridge between divinely inspired ideas of air into creation, and you turning things and making them happen and real. And then there was another court card in the same suit, and let's have a look at it. The Lord of Skulls. Hey, gee, he actually looks like he's got it all going, doesn't he? Well, he presents a skull as a trophy. And this represents both the completion of the harvest, so you're going to get some reward here, and the ability to develop the manifest world for your own needs. This is really coming through along this column. Now, the skull can be seen as, well, as his own head, which he has detached to use as a totem to dispel any intellectual or emotional illusions. Do you understand what I mean by that? Now in the background here, there is a field of wheat which is ripe for harvest. Now this also refers to the vampire myth of harvesting souls of the dead, which relate here to binding an ethereal spirit into material form so that it doesn't dissipate into nothingness. Now this Lord of Skulls also says that this is a time when you'll have authority. There's a feeling of organization and government around you, is what I'm getting here. Organizing other people. You'll be pragmatic, faithful, and down to earth. And his earthly instincts give him an authoritative bond with the earth, allowing for direct connection with it. Look, as this Lord, he is fire, and so he's the positive aspect of nature, which instigates the process in which the everlasting is manifested here on earth. Now, on the level of consciousness, he personifies the vitality of earth that brings your unconscious spiritual thoughts into your everyday life. Now, this also can indicate financial or business matters here, organizations, tasks, endeavors. I think you're going to be quite busy, actually. But don't create any revolutions just at this month. Go forward, but use instinct to go forward. He's also, I've got to tell you, speaking of some sort of material gain, physical healing, and an interest in practical care of the material world. In summary, it is a time when you will be extremely gifted in making things happen. You'll have a great ambition and a desire to move things forward. And if you work diligently and hard, and more particularly have focused and follow through on things, you'll succeed. Great month for you. Didn't you find that fascinating? I certainly did. And what a wonderful month it looks like it's going to be for you. That's just fantastic. By the way, if you did like the video, do me the favor of pressing the like button. It's good for the YouTube computer system or something. It allows the channel to be seen by other people like that. It's the only favor that I ask from you. But what I will say is this, though, and that until I see you next time, remember one thing. Well, actually, before I say that, check out the description box for the readings and in particular for the healings. I think you might be interested in the stuff that's there, particularly on my website. Now, until I see you again, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.